Urban infrastructure is an integral part of modern-day society. It is defined by the National Academy of Engineers as the combination of fundamental systems that support a community, region, or country. This includes many things like roads, sewer systems, and power grids. The importance of these systems is often not fully realized by the general public. The infrastructure of many countries around the world is archaic and no longer functioning optimally. This presentation will look further into why our current urban infrastructure is failing and how to make changes in order to effectively maintain it in the future. To begin with, it is important to understand how urban infrastructure has reached this point of disarray. Constructing and maintaining urban infrastructure is a centuries-old issue. The task of building and maintaining infrastructure has only grown harder and harder with the growing demands of its society. For example, in ancient times, there was only roads and aqueducts to construct and maintain. However, with the creation of things like power grids and telecommunication systems, building and maintaining infrastructure systems have become more and more complex. In the past, it has been difficult to implement improvements to the construction and maintenance of infrastructure. This has caused urban infrastructure to slide into a state of disarray. There are a few reasons as to why this is true. These reasons are: one major issue in the realm of urban infrastructure is shifting. Shifting is the constant changing of powers responsible for the development and maintenance of infrastructure projects. Infrastructure projects can often last decades or even centuries from the beginning of their development to the end of their life, and maintenance must be done up until the end of their life cycle. During this time, many things about the project can change. The organization in charge of constructing and/or maintaining the project, the individuals holding power at those organizations, i.e. the CEO or lead engineer, etc., and/or the project itself and the needs and demands of the project itself. An example of this can be seen with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. One of their main responsibilities is constructing and maintaining water infrastructure in the United States. Historically, most of their budget in this area went to constructing new infrastructure. However, this budget is now dominated by maintaining and rehabilitating existing infrastructure. This is an example where, although the group in charge of the project has remained the same, the important individuals in charge of the proceedings have changed along with the goal of the proceedings. This leads to a disconnect of important ideas, contributing to the disarray of urban infrastructure. However, there is a solution to this issue, which can be implemented in the future. In order to eliminate this disconnect, infrastructure maintenance projects must require a plan for future improvements. Basically, this means projects would require plans that lay out the building and maintenance plans for the life of the project. This would eliminate the disconnect when the project is handed over to a different group or people in charge, helping to pave the way for a more efficient upkeep of urban infrastructure. Another main issue regarding urban infrastructure is funding. A lack of funding has contributed to infrastructure systems failing at an increased rate. No matter how efficient or sustainable a maintenance procedure is, it cannot be properly implemented if there is a dearth of funding. Florida is expected to experience a $62.5 billion shortfall over the period from 2005 to 2025. The extremity of the shortfall leaves no surprise as to why the condition of our infrastructure has entered a downward spiral in the recent years. This figure is from the American Society of Civil Engineers in 2017. It is another example of just how poor the current funding for urban infrastructure projects in the U.S. truly is. Road, bridge, and transport systems alone are lacking $1 trillion in funding throughout the U.S. This is an extreme amount. Other um, parts like electricity and schools, waterways, ports, levees, dams, airports, rail, waste and wastewater, public parks and rec, and hazardous solid waste are also lacking a large amount of money. However, this figure is useful to us as it helps us reach a possible solution. As mentioned before, the previous figure is from a study done by the American Society of Civil Engineers, or ASCE. ASCE is the premier civil engineering society in the United States, and if they're saying that there's a problem, there's a problem. This figure helps draw light towards the problem that is the lack of funding for urban infrastructure projects. It is important that the U.S. public and especially U.S. lawmakers begin to acknowledge these reports and listen to them, and especially for U.S. lawmakers to begin allocating more money towards urban infrastructure so that changes can be made. In conclusion, in its current state, urban infrastructure around the world is failing. Two main reasons as to why this is happening are shifts in power and a lack of funding. A possible solution to the shifts in power issue is implementing development plans to streamline construction and maintenance so that ideas are not lost when a project is transferred to a new group or a new person in charge, or the goal of the project is changed. A solution to the lack of funding issue is to petition lawmakers, specifically ones in the U.S., for the U.S. issues, to allocate more money towards urban infrastructure. If these changes do not begin to occur, the health of our infrastructure will continue to spiral downwards. This could threaten the health of both our infrastructure and our society. These are the references that I used throughout the presentation.